real talk and real strategies. This podcast is dedicated to helping you unleash your full potential by cultivating referral relationships. In this 10-part series, we've been diving into the fascinating world of mindset, exploring how it affects our business, personal lives, sales, and honestly, every other aspect of our lives. So today we're talking about mutual success of helping others rise. Athena, can you tell us why we want to do that? What's important about it? All the things.
Yes. All right. So, first of all, mutual success, right? And one of the components here that I really want people to hear is there is a lot going on with technology. And you're like, success, mutual success, technology. Look, you guys, in business right now, there's a ton going on with technology. And we need to embrace technology. We need to get on the AI bandwagon, and we need to understand that technology is advancing very quickly, and you need to make sure that you have systems in place to do it. Now, that's a little side note, because that's why we're talking, though, about mutual success and helping other people rise, because the real keynote is some businesses are only going to focus on technology, and they're going to minimize relationships, Jada. And I am telling you, my mentor, Darren Hardy, and others like him are saying that's not the road you want to travel. Embrace technology, but it's time we double down in relationships. And I am consistently talking about relationships equal referral, which equal revenue. And if you want to have a non-stoppable sales engine, and you want to make an impact in life, and you want to live life well, we've got to learn how to help other people rise and make other people the hero and help them achieve. And in doing so, which comes the mutual success, you become successful. So very passionate about this, Jada. You know, this is like one of my triggers.
It is. It is a fundamental.
It is, definitely. So today I want to tell you a story. And I'm going to share my story. And in regards to why I feel so passionate about this. Now, I'm going to tell you that for decades, I understood that relationships were important, and we needed to cultivate relationships. And I did an scale 1 to 10, Jada, maybe a 5.5 job at it, right? That's fine. But when I moved to Oklahoma, oh my goodness, over a decade ago now, I had a dream. And I had a dream that someday I wanted to start a coaching business and become a professional speaker. Woo! Yay, right?
Dream come true, baby.
Right? So this dream, that dream has been around for a while. But when I came into Oklahoma, I knew in order to really make the impact I needed to here that I didn't know anyone. And when I came to work with Tim Turner at Turner and Son Homes, which is a local home building company in Oklahoma, I had to go to work for him. And I say had because I really did have to. I worked at a different company, and that one required travel. And because of my daughter's disabilities, travel for me can be tricky. And at that point, I was a single mom as well. So I came to work with Tim, and I realized, oh my goodness, I am all of a sudden responsible for all the lead generation for this company. And we were changing the business model. So it wasn't like I could dump thousands of dollars into a marketing, Jada, because we were changing who we were marketing. And as we described our new business model, which we were going from building production homes, you guys are like, what is that? That's where you go into a neighborhood and a builder builds it and an agent sells it. Okay. We were going from that to this 100% custom on scattered sites, which is out on land. Different business model entirely. And it was my job to bring in the leads. And anyway, it was the hardest journey to date in my entire life. And I'm so thankful for the hardship. But one of the things I realized really quickly after I went to a training with Darren Hardy is how important relationships were, how important building referral partners was. And it was this light bulb moment, Jada. You know, I talk about this all the time. I talk about it in my book, the life-changing moments. And so I realized, I'm like, okay, how do I do that? I'm new to the city, right? I'm new to the industry. I don't know anybody. How am I going to leverage this? We just changed our business model. What do I do? Has anybody ever felt like that, where you were like, I have to generate all the leads? I've got to do these sales. I don't even know where to start. Somebody else isn't going to do it for me. Ever felt like that? Like you were just, wow. Well, that's how I felt. And I was also a single mom of a child with special needs. So not making money was not an option, right? I'm a sole breadwinner at that point. And so what I did is I realized, okay, how do I start building these relationships? And you know, Jada, without me going into detail, I had to focus on my target market. And then once I understood my target market, I went after and I said, okay, I have to build relationships with these people. And I realized very quickly, Jada, that if I didn't add value to them, if I didn't listen to them, if I didn't make them feel important, if I didn't make them the hero of the conversation, if I went in and pitched them or tried to sell them or any of the other, and when I did, because at the beginning I did try those things, by the way, I landed on my face. But when I went into the conversation and I only cared about understanding them and how I could help them and and I say things, but it's how I built my 10-step non-stoppable sales engine, which are my core classes that are online. But as I realized, oh my gosh, the most important key here is helping other people rise. And Jada, you know the statistics here, but we went from, in January of 16, 3 referral partners to, it didn't even, within 5 years, we had about 1,000. Jada, do we know where the number is now?
It sits right around 2,300 right now.
Boom. And you guys, hey, one thing, that is a very niche market. Niche, meaning very small, very, 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 very small. Most people with that kind of niche market, if they had 50 referral partners, would be jumping the jiggy jig. Okay. So I'm just telling you, but I realized it was because of building these relationships. Within 4 years, Jada, and you guys could be like, she's just trying to be braggadocious. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you, this is crazy how successful this stuff is. Within 4 years of a community I had never lived in, I won in Edmond. They interviewed, first of all, you had to be nominated for Businesswoman of the Year, okay? And I had lived here for 4 years, Jada, 4 years. And so I got nominated. They had 200 nominations. I made it to the top 3. Now,
Wow.
I didn't win Businesswoman of the Year, but the woman who did have been living in the community for 45 years. Okay? I lost to somebody worthy. My point is, I'm not that fabulous to get that honor. But I made other people feel fabulous, Jada. And they got me that honor. And so I really want you guys to be listening today. I know you could be on the treadmill or at the gym, or you could be in your car right now. But in the show notes, Jada, make sure that we have some notes. But I want you to listen, because making other people win, making other people the hero, will drastically change your life.
Yeah. I would say I've even seen that in the home building business. All of the road that Athena paved for me, I mean, it still pays off. So years down the line, it's still an incredible tool that it's paying dividends years later. So I just think that's really cool. I also wanted to share something, and Athena, I hope it's okay that I just read from Forbes magazine, because it's some great information. I don't even want to try to summarize it.
I love their stuff. Yeah. Tell us what you found.
Okay, perfect. So I wanted to say I did choose this one because it is a simple approach. to why it matters to help others in business. But again, it's from Forbes magazine. We'll link it in the show notes below. So I'm just going to read it real quick.
Perfect.
It's a article and it's labeled why helping others without expected return should be standard in business. So Forbes is pointing it out, and this is what they say. They say, one, it's the right thing to do. Science has indicated that helping others not only makes us feel better, it could contribute to a longer, happier life. Whatever your personal philosophy is, no business thrives without people internally and externally, and positive relationships require us to give and take. Number two, it can educate and empower. So taking a moment to educate your audience about what you can offer them and why it's valuable is always important. This can often be a necessary step in determining whether a lead is in fact viable. Number three is it won't go unnoticed. Being kind, helpful, and courteous leaves a lasting impression on people. You may not have given them what they hoped for, but if a potential client walks away from an interaction with you feeling validated and informed, they'll likely remember it. One study of 10,000 consumers found that 44% shared a very good customer experience with someone else by phone, by email, or in person. And then the last one is it's a win-win scenario. Just because an individual or a company isn't in the market for your services today doesn't mean that it's the end of your story together. By offering them useful and actionable information, you're still creating value that clients will associate with your brand. It's a minor investment in time that they can pay huge dividends in reputation and leave you feeling better personally and professionally. So
good.
That is what Forbes has to say. And I even want to go off of that. It's a win-win scenario. I think about in the home building business specifically, where someone called us 3 years ago, decided to buy an existing home instead of building on their land just because it wasn't the right timing or whatever reason they decided. And now they're coming back and saying, hey, I remember talking to your team 3 to 5 years ago, and I had a great experience. And so I want to continue that conversation now that my family's actually ready to pursue that conversation. So I just think that's a very real example of a conversation, multiple conversations that I've had on our other or in our other business. So now that we have the facts, Athena, I would just love to hear what real talk and real strategies you have for us.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, Jada, because I think so often we hear if you're not winning or closing, right?
Yeah.
Got to be always closing.
ABC.
ABC always, whatever it is. Anyway, Athena doesn't believe in that theology. But however, the thing is, what you're talking about there is we did what the Forbes magazine said as a company, right? And so they've come back. I love that. It's about helping other people, and I love that. So, all right, where does the rubber meet the road? You guys know I care very much that you get practical tips to apply to your business and your life, because it matters to me, because I got sick of reading books and then they had theory, but no rubber meeting the road. So why do we want to do it? First of all, I want to tell you this. By making other people the hero and making it about them, it enhances your reputation and your brand. So I'm going to give you some what's in it for me for a second. So what happens is you become known as the connector, Jada, where people know you and they know your reputation. And it becomes your brand. This is something I learned by accident. I just was giving to people because I saw, oh, if I give, I get. Okay, I'll do that. And then it just felt better, right? I hated the rejection. And I played a game that when I was doing tons of cold calling in the beginning, I said, if I connect or refer 7 people per day to something that will help them, then I've had a good day, right? That was a game I played. And that allowed is it started to build a reputation. Okay. So then all of a sudden, what I want you to think about, you guys, if you're this person who's adding value and listening to people, what happens is when you call, they're not going to be like, oh, that phone call. Never mind. I know they're going to try to sell me, to do something, want something. They're going to see your number and they're going to be like, oh, maybe they've got something good for me, or maybe they're going to uplift me, or you see the difference there? Yeah. And that is your brand. We think branding in logos and we think branding in fonts, No, who you are, your character is your brand. I want you to hear that. Your character is your brand. So think about that. So if you're giving, then you'll be known for that. So people will pick up the phone. The other thing is it creates customer loyalty. And Jada, you said that perfectly in your example. And retention. If you want people to stay with you in a business, you'd better be doing something to add them value. So what I was going to say when I said I want to tell you about my insurance agent. So I'm overly insured. Okay? Overly insured. And I spend a lot of money a month in insurance. But for over 2 years, my insurance agent, Jada, never called me to ask me how the coverages were, if they were what I needed. They never sat down with me and looked at my exposure or anything like that. They never made me feel important. They didn't do anything to do that. And so subsequently, somebody else came along and said, hey, has anybody asked you about X, Y, and Z lately? Or, hey, I see you have events. What kind of coverage do you have for this? And I was like, I don't know. So guess where all my insurance went to, right? So you need to think about this. If you're making other people the hero, you're saving their day, you're doing that. So think about that with your customer loyalty and retention. The other thing, and people don't think about this, but when you add value to other people and you make other people win, part of your reputation and part of your character becomes the person who attracts top talent. Right? So I know as a business owner, one of the biggest obstacles is finding A players and top-notch talent. Well, your reputation and how you're known to treat your clients, how you're known to treat other people will allow you to attract talent. So think about that too and how that plays in. And of course, for me, it helped for me when I say this is important. It helps you build referral partnerships. It helps you build strategic partnerships. It helps you build clients who become raving fans. So think about what are you doing in those regards to make them the hero. So think through that as you're pondering listening today. So how do we do that? Number one thing, and I'm going to keep it really simple. I know we're on a podcast. This is not one of my courses, but we've got to learn to listen, whole body listening. Now, I have courses on that, of course, but whole body listening. Remember, words are the smallest component of communication, right? And I love to give the example of this because think about this. If you ever asked a woman, is she fine? If she says fine, it's not the word she's saying. It's the tonality and the body language you better hear, right? So are you listening? Are you making sure that the person you're interacting feels seen, heard, and understood? And are you adding value? And I'm going to give you just a very short example of what that looks like. Okay. Now this is important. I hope you really guys get to hear this. If this is exactly what I do and have done. And so this is what it looks like. Jada, if I were to meet you out for coffee and you and I had just met, and first of all, I wouldn't start by telling you all about me. Okay. Wrong answer. Even if you asked, hey, tell me more about you, I would literally, Jada, say, you know what, I'm not that interesting, or, oh my gosh, no, we don't have that much time. I want to hear about you first. Okay. Always divert it back to the other person. Then Jada, I would find out all about you. I would listen to your story. What do you do? Who do you serve? If depending on how well the coffee, like what are your struggles in your business? What are you awesome at? What are your passions, etc. Okay. My goal is that there's so little time left for me to tell you what I do. Okay. Because I have got so much information from you and allowed you to tell me your story. Then, after meeting with you, while I was listening to you, I would be thinking of a way I could add value to you.
Mm.
Okay. And what that looks like on a practical, right? Rubber meets the road, is me reaching back out to you in 48 or 72 hours and saying, hey, Jada, I really enjoyed our coffee. Remember when you told me X, Y, and Z? Well, I've been thinking about it. And I wanted to send you this link to a book that I thought you might like, or a blog, you guys, or you guys get it. Or, hey, I think you might really benefit, Jada, from talking to my friend so and so, and this is why. I want you to think about the different approach that is. Now, I haven't asked for business from you, Jada. I'm not asking from you, and I'm certainly not giving you an infomercial about me. I'm just letting you know I've listened to you, I see you, and I want to add value and make you the hero.
I love that.
And it works. And it's more fun. By the way, it's more it's the fun part of sales. So digest that, you guys. And Jada, I know you know what this looks like because you do the same thing. And I know that you do that and you have that reputation as I'm out in the community and people talk about that. So, but one thing I want to say thank you so much for being here. I know your time is valuable. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being on this journey. Our goal, our heart is to help you fight the challenges and obstacles that are stopping you from reaching your full potential, for allowing you to see practical ways that you can build your team, your revenue, or your business. Because you're not alone, you are valuable, and we want to share our experience to help you. And so thank you so much for being here. Jada, what's up next?
Yeah, so what's up next is we want to invite you to join the Success Revolution. It is Athena's weekly blog where it is fueled by relationships, referral, and revenue. So kind of touches on the topics we just talked about, but it's a weekly blog and it gives you those growth strategies that you need to take your business and your personal development to the next level. So we'll create that, or we'll send that link in the show notes below, as well as all the other information we talked about. And then also wanted to invite you guys to like and subscribe to the podcast. We would love your feedback. We will continue on this mindset series for a couple more episodes, but would love just your feedback on other topics, other resources that you guys would like to hear or need in your life. And then next week, Athena is going to be bringing us some real talk and real strategies on emotional intelligence. So if you missed last week's episode, we touched on it a little bit and kind of hinted at talking about it next week. So if you haven't watched last week's episode, go back and give it a listen, and then we will see you next week.
See you then.